Hull up. Get your head in the game. What up, everybody? It's Knarbles coming back at you, this time with a viewer request. You big Jims and Jills out there wanted to know how the 326 sauce was tasted. I thought, well, shoot, I got all the ingredients. Let's get cooking. So what we're going to do here is your basic D101 level breakdown of the 326 playbook. We're going to focus on some of the unique formations that it has. The 326 odd, obviously, the 326 mug, the 335 3-high odd, and the dime load weak. I'm going to sprinkle in some basic tips and hints when it comes to each one of these, what kind of coaching adjustments to think about, and also what kind of strengths and weaknesses you want to keep in mind when calling these defense. This is going to result in some absolutely badass sideline play calling cards that are going to come together in an 8K crystal clear download that you could use later for strategization or reference material. It's actually designed to be specifically sized for tablets for easy in-game reference. So with that out of the way, and without further ado, let's get the sub-like notification shout out of the way for the algorithm and channel growth. Do some pre-game warm-ups, slap some ass, and get stuck in. So why do you want to use the 326 playbook? Well, its creator and coordinator extraordinaire John Heacock will probably tell you that it's designed to stop pass-happy offenses by putting in dime personnel to more of a base defensive look. In this case, he took what was the 3-4, swapped out the outside linebackers with a quicker and faster strong safety and slot cornerback, and then spread them out a little, and you've got the 326 odd. Another way to look at this is as a heavy dime, because you're bringing in an extra strong safety to help with the run defense. So just as with dime, you don't want to use this as your primary run stopper. In this playbook, you're going to use the 3-4 odd or the 3-3-5 stack for that. The 3-2-6 is a formation that you're going to want to call when you think they're going to pass. It comes with a standard collection of cover 4 plays that are about as effective as a cover 4 is going to be against the pass. And that's because they're positioned directly in the passing lanes from the snap. It'd be hard not to call one of these variants if you find yourself up by 2 possessions and you're just looking to stop the big play and drain the game out. But the cover 4 ain't the reason why you're calling this formation. It really starts to get interesting when we uncover the cover 3 calls. And here you've got a call that's unique to the rest of the playbooks in college football 26, I think, and that's the cover 3 lock. This is a must call and a favorite suggestion. What you're going to want to do is flip this play at the line of scrimmage to make sure that guy who's in man is on their favorite slot. This play is going to confuse opposing QBs, and it's going to result in more turnovers, sacks, incompletions than your standard cover 3 sky ever will. It's not terrible against the run either, which makes it a great base defensive call for this formation. It's about here where I want you to notice as we look at these plays and these shells that it comes almost naturally base aligned. And that base alignment is almost a cover 2/cover 4 look. Let's talk about the cover 6 selection in this formation. It's freaking awesome. You come across another unique play in college football 26, and that's the cover 6, just the regular cover 6. It has an extra dude dropping into the hook zone area, covering the middle of the field up and helping to cover that seam that kind of naturally develops between the cover 2 and cover 4 side of the defense. And along the same lines, the cover 6 Willie becomes a lot more interesting and useful in this defense. That extra dude this time is blitzing, but if you use him to cover, act like a safety on the man side of the field to catch any late drags or crosses that could burn you, it's a really fun defense to run. And now we're going to be moving on to the cover 2, and we come to some more gems in this formation. The number one that jumps out to me here is the cover 2 man call. This one's great at stuffing the RPOs. It brings down everybody into a press look, which puts them right almost into their run gap fit. And then it's also good at stopping the pass for the very same reason. And as you would expect, it comes with a massive selection of man coverage calls from cover 1 to cover 0 stuff. It's got a blitz for almost everything you want. Some other special stuff it has here is the double bracket play. I love using this play, especially if you shade your defenders to cover outside and then you user that middle zone with the linebacker. Now, this is a good time to move on to the 3-2-6 mug. And this one's actually my favorite 3-2-6, surprisingly. And what it does is it just brings down the linebackers right down to the line of scrimmage, mugging up against the D lineman. But one thing you want to keep in mind with this formation is that it's going to bring in your defensive specialist. So get ready for your sub linebacker and your rush D lineman to come in for this one. Also, something that's very similar to the odd setup is that it's naturally base aligned. So when you see these plays, like look at how hard it's going to be to decipher between the zone coverage. So as you can see here, you have 1 call for cover 4, 3 for cover 3, and 4 for both cover 2 and your mans. There's only a few plays to pick from, but each one serves a vital purpose to make this mug scheme work the way it should. The cover 4, again, another good one-size-fits-all defense for pass coverage, as much as that exists. And the reason that is because the dudes are dropping directly into the passing lanes as the ball is snapped. It's my base call out of the 3-2-6 mug because it is so good at stopping the run. Everybody's pressed up. But I also use it in the red zone because the field compresses and it becomes super hard to force the ball through a gap. The cover 2 man is a real gem in this formation. Make sure you favorite it. It's just as good as the odds version of it, if not even better. It has everybody at the line of scrimmage. Great for stopping the RPOs. Keep in mind, while it is good at stopping both the R and the P and that O, it puts everyone on an island. So if the wrong guy loses his battle up front, it could be absolutely catastrophic for this defense. All right, let's move on to another unique formation in this playbook, and that's the 3-3-5 3-high odd. This one actually has a completely different philosophy and such an interesting spin-off for more than just having the 3 safeties sitting high like that. Because they maintain that depth, the result is another kind of naturally base-aligned defense. The quarterback is kind of at a loss to figure out if it's cover 3 or cover 2 in this formation. Important to note here, your regular personnel are coming back in, and you're going to be adding some beef because you're replacing those backup slot corners with a linebacker and a strong safety. And now that I think about it, this might actually be a better option for you depending on who you have on your squad in your lineup. If you're stronger with safeties, then you might want to use this instead of the 3-2-6 formation. But this is definitely a better option when it comes to run defense than the 3-2-6. So here EA gives us 2 choices for the same cover 4, but it makes up for it with the absolutely incredible cover 3 and cover 6 setup. Just like the 3-2-6, you get the extra lurker for the cover 6, and because of the extra lurker, your Willie becomes available again. There's a couple things that jump out to me that surprise me about this defense. The first one is there's only 1 man coverage call. It's the Saw Blitz 1. It's a good man coverage call, don't get me wrong, but there's only 1 of them. The second thing that jumps out to me in this is the cover 3 man call. It's so tempting to call, but I'd actually encourage you not to do it unless you're really close to the red zone or you're in a prevent situation, because the smart QB is just going to wait for everyone to bail downfield covering wide receivers. He's just going to scramble up the field for 15, 25 yards. In fact, if the quarterback has the luxury of being patient at all in this defense, you're about to get torched. But like I said, this becomes less and less of a threat as you get closer to the end zone and the field compresses. So in order to put pressure on the quarterback, you're going to want to use the zone blitzes to force a sack or a throw. Also, the 3-high odd tends to lull the other quarterback into thinking it can only run the cover 3. That's because of those 3-high guys. So every once in a while, you're going to want to sprinkle in a cover 2 zone blitz where you would have a cover 3 to try and create some of those turnovers. This defense is also pretty good against the run, and that's despite where the safeties are lining up again. And it's probably actually because where the safeties are lining up. They can cover the edge runs really well from that position. Overall, this formation is actually really fun to use, but I think it would be even more fun to use in squads. Because I mean, imagine 3v3s with 3 safeties rolling at the 3rd level of the field and coming down for run stops. All right, let me introduce you to the dime load week, the last but utterly not least formation we're covering today. What it does is it brings in your specialists, keep that in mind, but it brings them into a 7-man box made up of like heavy dime personnel. It takes away a D lineman and a cornerback, and then it replaces them with a linebacker and a safety. So what that does is it adds a little bit of run-stopping oomph to that dime look, but it also maintains coverage ability. As far as play selection goes, it's limited for many of the same reasons any type of mug formation would be, and that's because everyone's just right up on the LOS. But it has everything you need. It has 1 cover 4 call, masquerading as 2, a cover 3 zone blitz for everyone on the field, and a cover 3 match option. It has 3 variations on the cover 2, a cover 1, a cover 1 press, and a frickin' kitchen sink. I like that they added the load week to the dime package in this playbook. It gives you another option for dime that has a 3 down lineman set that is consistent with the 3-2-6 and the 3-3-5 and the 3-4 that's all a part of this playbook. This makes it so you can maintain a consistent personnel package if that's your desire. What's 100% sure is that it's better against the run than any dime rush is going to be. And that's just because everybody's set up in their run fit gap right at the snap. What's surprising is they also maintain really good pass coverage from those positions, as you'll see here. So it makes it a really good option to throw in there at the end of the first and second half to kill drives, because that QB is going to see a different formation and not know what the hell you got going on. In all actuality, you are going to be running the exact same scheme with pretty much the same personnel. It's one of those sneaky ways of creating the conditions for a turnover without having to take any risks whatsoever. So enjoy. This is one of those defenses that I've never run before, and I did it just for this video. So it's one that I would definitely enjoy doing a further, more deep dive video on. Who knows? But I could also keep going down the route of making play cards for each one of these defenses in the game. I don't know. You let me know. Comment below. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to break the huddle. But before I do, I want to show you the glorious sideline play call card in 8K, finished and combined. I hope you get good use out of it. Also, if you made it this far, you probably got some value from my content. So if you did, please make sure you're like and subscribed and turn those notifications on for the next one of these sideline play call cards or whatever I got going on. This has been your Defensive Coordinator Extraordinaire, Knarbles.